Shakira is here. Ooh yeah. Ooh yeah. Hello everyone and welcome back to another story time. So this story is about how my friend gave the police my information. So y'all, yes, the story time is what it is. The title is what it is. My friend gave my information to the police falsely, okay? And I use that term friend very loosely. So ex-friend, obviously. After you hear this story time, you're gonna be like, yeah, that was no friend. So this story takes place a few years ago. Um, like everyone, I have a group of girls. Everybody has their friend group. With friend groups, there goes the group chat. Everybody has it. If you're a girl, you have a friend group of girls. You're gonna have a girls chat. If you're a guy, you're gonna have your guys chat, and that's where all the shared information goes, like a joke, a funny meme, or just information everybody puts into the chat so you guys can meet up and throw ideas for, just whatever. So, but you know how, like, in some friend groups, people can be um, have a different bond with the certain people, part of the group, but not everyone. So in this group, I did have like um, a, a a different bond with a couple of other people. So we had our own separate chat, in some girls group and guys groups, if people have a different type of bond or friendship, they have their own separate chat. Not like there's anything envious going on or things like that. Sometimes, certain friends may have time for certain things over the other friends. So that was the case. In this case, yes, we just, we had more time and things like that than the other girls did. So let me name the person. So the friend that told the police my information. So we're gonna give her the name Blondie, and the other girl in the group chat that was in this subgroup chat. She's not gonna have a major role in this story, so we're just gonna name her friend because I can't really think of anything, so we're just gonna name her friend. So I had a chat with Blondie and friend. So me, Blondie, and friend, we would have our little chat with just the three of us. We would, do the same things as, the original big group chat with our other friends. But sometimes we would make plans to do other things outside of that chat just because, we lived closer together than the other girls and had a little bit more time for certain things than the other girls. Okay. So y'all get what I mean. So, one day, it was like a summer day, like a summer night. I was winding down. I was tired after a long day. I put my daughter to bed. I was getting ready for bed. I had finally laid down. You know, I'm I'm young, so I'm just, texting away all the group chats. I have more than one friend group chat, so I'm texting and stuff like that. And I just been on the phone all day, and I'm just like, I'm tired, I'm getting sleepy, eyes getting heavy. So I start to fall asleep. So I don't respond to any more text messages. And, my phone start ringing. And I'm just like, and then I look at my phone and it's an unknown number. I said, oh, you know how when you see an unknown number, you just ignore it because it could be like a spam call or somebody you don't want to talk to. So I ignored the call. And then the number keeps calling me. I'm just like, what the heck? Like, I didn't understand. And then I heard like text messages come through. And I'm just like, and then I peeked at the text messages. You know how you can look at the text message, but not completely open it. And within the group message with just Blondie and friend, I look and Blondie's like, "Hey Shakira, I'll explain later. I had to give your number to the police." See, we already know ish is about to arise. So I was just like, huh? I didn't understand. So my phone starts ringing again, ringing and ringing and ringing. And then um, whoever's calling me, whatever number's calling me, leaves a voice message. So I listened to the voice message and I forget exactly what the message said, but it was saying, hey, it was this name, but it wasn't my name. It was like, hey, this is Boston Police. We're calling about the investigation of a murder. And I'm just like, what this got to do with me? This got to do with me. So I'm just like, and I didn't even speak to Blondie yet, but I got the brief message that she sent. And I'm just like, what? And I'm just putting two and two together and I'm not understanding. So, the next day comes or whatever, and Blondie calls, and Blondie is, no, actually, before she calls, she's like, putting in the text message, like, yeah, tell me a bit about, she told me a little bit more in the morning, like what happened, like, there was a shooting in front of my house, and I gave your number. So Blondie ends up calling me and I'm mad. I'm just like, I don't, and then I did respond. I didn't respond that night, but before she calls me, like I responded to her message. I said, I don't live where you live. I don't understand. And I said, please don't give my number out. And then she calls me like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't mean to give your number to the police. She goes, I gave your number to the police because I couldn't think of anybody else's number. Really? So she starts explaining that she was in her apartment and she heard gunshots, and then she followed by a man, and then when she looked out the window, there was a man that was, apparently suffering from, wounds from being, pow-powed. And I'm like, what the heck? And then she says, obviously a few minutes later, the police come and they're ringing everybody's, because it happened right in front of her apartment building. So the police starts ringing everybody's doorbell in that apartment building and asking, did they see anything and can they give any information? Because obviously whoever shot the person, they need to look for the person who did it because they got away. So Blondie gives them a fake name, but gives them my real number. And I'm just like, and I said, well, why did you do that? She was like, I was thinking of my ex-boyfriend's number, but I just couldn't think of it. Only your number came to mind. And she was like, they asked for my number because they may have questions later. I didn't think they would really call you. Excuse me? Like, somebody was just unalived and you think they wouldn't call you? Like, they're trying to investigate and get justice for this person's family. Like, I mean, if this happened to you or one of your loved ones, you would want the police to take action and really call and investigate and try to get information from people. So why would you? And you had the option of giving your number. You could have declined and said, no, I didn't see anything that happened, or I don't have enough information. You could have just said what you said to me and, said, I don't feel comfortable with giving y'all my number. They didn't subpoena you to give your phone number. So, and I'm just like, that makes no sense. Just because my number, like, why would you do that? Because with phone numbers, they could just enter my phone number and in whatever system they have and come and get all of my information. And I had nothing to do with that. I didn't live in the area at all. So, you know, I was pissed off. And I'm just like, please don't give my number out, you know. And, you know, I'm not a confrontational person, so I didn't like go off on her. I didn't yell or do anything, but I was very, very, very upset. And it hurt me because I'm just like, why would she do that? Why would she play with me like that? So, you know, I told my mom about it, my sister, my family, and I asked some friends. I'm like, do you think that's weird? I told them the whole situation. They're like, yeah, that's messed up. That's automatic cutoff. Like, you know. And even friend was like, that's messed up. You know, Shakira, she don't even live there. Like, why would you give her phone number? Like, especially for a serious case, like someone got shot. Like, why would you do that? Like, nobody was like understanding. Like, that's kind of stupid. Like, why would you do that? So, you know, I just like, you know, again, me, I don't know. I felt weird about it, but I tried to still continue to be her friend. Don't ask me why. I just, even though I felt, so what she said to me was like, I understand if you don't want to be friends. Like, she constantly apologized and called me up throughout that week. She was like, I understand if you don't want to be friends with me no more. That's fine. I can take that. And I was just like, yeah, I understand. And then, but I you know, although she apologized, I was thankful that she did apologize, but I felt like from that situation, I don't think there was no coming back. I don't think our friendship was the same ever since then. You know, I felt like, you know, it definitely definitely separated us, and I felt like, you know, something was off. So the other girls in our friend group, they found out about it and they were just upset about that. They was like, why would you do that to Shakira? You know, she's really nice, she's sweet, and, you know, she's not a confrontational person. Like, why would you give her number? Like, that's not cool. And, you know, so Blondie starts to get upset because all the other girls in the group are like, yeah, that's messed up. Like, why would you do that? So it just created, like, you know, controversy in the friend group. So, you know, as time is going on, like a couple of weeks go by, and can you believe the police is still calling my phone every day? And I wouldn't pick up because I thought, like, if I didn't pick up, the police will stop calling. And I'm telling Blondie this. I'm like, hey, Blondie, like, you know, they're still calling me. And she's like, oh, for real? I didn't even think that, you know, they would actually call you. Like, I didn't think it was, they would, I thought, she was like, oh, I thought nothing would come of this. You know, I just thought they would take the number, you know. And through this, I'm just like, so like upset. I'm just like, why would you think that, like, they wouldn't call me? Of course they're going to call. Like, that's their job. Like, this is a serious matter, somebody's life. And I still, even to this day, it's just not clicking, like, why somebody would do that. Like, you could have just refused to give your phone number, or not, like, I'm not even making up a number, because, like, why would you give anybody's number? Because they can bring up all of your information with your phone number. Like, and they could have came to my house because, hey, this person's not picking up. This is kind of weird. You know, was this a person that actually did the shooting? Like, they could have came to my house and, you know, try to, you know, arrest me. Like, not arrest me, but question me, investigate me, because they think that's weird. Like, hey, this person gave us this number and she's not picking up. This number is not even registered to this address where the shooting happened, but it's here. Like, they're gonna start to question the weirdness of it all. So in my head, I'm thinking like that they're gonna think it's weird, and I'm just like, this is crazy. So eventually, you know, I'm like, I gotta pick up the phone and tell them, you know, I'm not the person that they're looking for. And I finally pick up the call from the police, and I'm like, hello? the person, I can't remember if it was a woman. Was it a woman? I think it was a woman. So the woman was like, hey, this is Boston Police regarding the investigation for the shooting that took place on blah, 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 blah street. And I'm like, hi, you have the wrong number. I'm not this person. And she's like, really? Well, this is the number we have that was given to us at the scene. So I'm just like, in my head, like, yeah, she thinks I'm totally lying. And the Today Me, I was like, why didn't you just tell them what really went down, that your fake friend gave your phone number, you know? And then I was just like, yeah. So I continue to say, you know, I just was like, you know, whatever. It's not me. And then they're like, okay. But the person on the phone was like, you know, like, girl, like, what's really going on? Because this number was given to us at the scene, you know, my real number, but a fake name. Just weird. Like, if you're going to give a fake name, why don't you give a fake number? But I think that she shouldn't give anybody's number at all. Not even an ex-boyfriend. Like, come on now. So I'm like, you hated me more than you hated that ex-boyfriend. Anyway, so the police, so that was that. So after I picked up the phone and actually spoke with the police, which was 2 weeks later, they finally stopped calling. And that's crazy that they kept calling and calling and calling, even though I didn't pick up. So they only stopped because I was like, I picked up the phone eventually. It's like, hey, this is the wrong number. Somebody probably provided you with the fake number. So yeah, I wish I would have just, you know, told them everything that happened, because that wasn't cool at all. So after that, we tried to remain friends for a little while longer after that. And I felt like things were never the same. And she knew that too. Like, I felt like the energy got weird. And yeah, so we just started to, you know, we started to separate. Our friendship started to not be the same, you know. And I'm just like, yeah, I'll miss this person, but I can do without, because that was not cool at all. And I literally asked everyone in my life, I'm just like telling them the whole scenario, and they're just like, yeah, that's not cool. Like, nobody, who does that? They're like, that was not cool at all. That is definitely grounds for termination of the friendship. And even though I tried to be friends, again, I know I keep repeating it, it was just never the same. It was just very hurtful. So yeah, so we stopped being friends because of that. And yeah, y'all, so that is the story about how my friend gave my information to the police. And yes, y'all, so the moral of this story is, you know, don't give your friend's information to the police. Not even your ex-boyfriend. That's wrong, especially if it has something to do with, you know, someone being unalive. Even if you have no attachment to that person being unalive, like, don't do that. 2, be careful of who you call a friend. And if they show you who they are, if they show you red flags, yeah, don't be cool with them. So that was my story time. I hope you enjoyed this story time, and I'll be back next week with another story time. Thank you so much, everybody. And yeah, if you have a similar story of a friend doing something weird to you, comment it down below. Tell me what you think about this story time. Give me a like, comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. And another thing that I forgot to mention is that towards the very, very, very end of our friendship, when we weren't friends ever again, friend had mentioned that, you know, Blondie told her that when they were talking about it, you know, so friend and Blondie were talking, and friend was like, oh, Blondie says she didn't give a F, you know, she just didn't care. And she was like, oh, that's messed up. And that really hurt. And I'm just like, dang, you be so good to people. You be their friend, but they don't be your friend back. And that really hurt.
year is here. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Travel the world, no fear, no fear. Dancing all night, so clear, so clear. Living her life sincere, sincere. London.